Well, good evening, everybody. How are you? It's me, Mitch. This is my back. I'm showing off my new shirt that my daughter got for me. Very tropical. It's freezing outside, but it's very tropical, and I'm trying to get in a tropical mood here tonight. So, how's everybody? Good to see y'all. See, you're all starting to pile in. That's wonderful. Wow. Wow, 47 people so far. Cool. Cool. I've been watching the chat here and see one of my old drone buddies, Adrian Mateo. How you doing, Adrian? Adrian and I go way back. Haven't heard from him or talked to him in years. So, yeah, tickled to see you here. Good to see you. And no, I haven't been doing much flying, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Y'all probably know that this used to be a drone channel before I decided I'd rather talk about health and diet. But for over 4 years, I did nothing but make drone videos, and those videos are still out there on my channel. If you just look at the videos and start going backwards, you'll find all kinds of antics. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, before we get going too far in here, let me give you my standard disclaimer. I don't know if it's mandatory or not, but I like to do it. Cover my butt. Anyway, we're going to be talking about health and diet. You may think I'm giving you all advice. I'm not giving any advice. I'm not giving medical advice. I am not a doctor. Don't have licenses to do any of this stuff. I don't think that means I don't know anything, but professionally I'm not allowed to advise people. So anything that I do tell you is my own personal experience, things that I've learned and figured out from studying on my own, but primarily for my own experiment, my N of 1, that worked on me and has done absolute miracles for my health, my weight, my mind and my brain and everything else. And I can only say to you when you ask me a question, well, here's what I think. When I did that, this is what happened to me. So that's my disclaimer, more than most people give, but I wanted to be really clear about that. You never know with all the opposition we get who might out there just start to try to cause some trouble. And if you ever want, I'll give you guys a hint. If any of you have YouTube channels and you want to really bring out the crazies, do what I did a couple of days ago and make a video about vegans. You would not believe some of the ridiculous, nasty comments. You didn't see them because when I saw them, these people did not deserve a public forum. And I'm usually the last guy that wants to hide somebody, but some of these things were just so moronic and stupid and ignorant and mean that it didn't take me 3 seconds to say click. And I hate to do that. And why they do that? Well, I understand why they do it. Because, well, goes without saying, I think I kind of intimated that veganism is a mental disorder. And sure enough, if they don't prove it. Anyway, activists. I had to do that once. I hadn't made videos like that. I've talked about some of the wild ideas people have, but I wanted to put a video out there and see what would happen. And I figure it would either get 1 trillion views or no views, and it didn't do too well, which is probably a good thing, because if it had done real well, I would have had 10 times as many comments, moronic comments, as I did have. Now, you're I've gotten to know a lot of you over the course of the past 6 or 7 months, and you're all smart people. I can tell by the comments that you write. You're calm in most cases. You are chill. You're typical what I think of when I think of carnivore in our community. How many of you are going on to vegan YouTube channels, especially the activist vegan channels, the ones that yell and screaming, and trying to change their mind and spending your time, your valuable time, all day sitting at some computer, typing comments on moronic videos? Is there anybody in our community that actually will do that, will spend their time? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I know I don't. So that right there just says it all, I think. Well, I've been busy. It seems I've gotten back to the one video a day thing. A couple months ago, I swore I was going to slow down, but unfortunately, YouTube doesn't work that way. The more I do this thing, the more I understand how a big part of the YouTube algorithm is momentum. And if you slow down, the train keeps going and you kind of get left behind. And I found that if I don't just keep pumping out content at a steady pace, then everything just falls off dramatically. So I said, if I'm going to do this, I may as well just do it. So I have been, and I've come up with some ways and some systems where I can get these videos out, and filming them and editing them and doing the mechanical stuff is really the easiest part. The toughest part is coming up with new ideas, because I don't want to bore everybody with these things. I don't want somebody to listen to the first 30 seconds of one of my videos and say, oh, he's talking about the same old thing over and over, and then you lose everybody. So if you think I'm doing it, please, you won't hurt my feelings. If you think that I'm straying a little, or I promise I won't get mad at you if you tell me that in one of the comments. If you have an idea, and I get some ideas from you guys, if you have an idea, or you've seen some absurd study or piece of news or something, put it in a comment or email it to me at oldguycarnivore@gmail.com. Let me know. That's how Sean Baker does it. Most of you follow Sean Baker. And Sean, I think he puts out 5, 10, 3 or 4 minute videos every day. And every one of those is about some post he's seen on social media, some news study, ridiculous study. I know that he has to have a staff or a feed of these things coming into him, because in order to discover and find that level of new things that would be interesting, that in itself is a full-time job, let alone trying to actually produce and upload the videos. So bigger guys like Ken Berry, and I'm sure that with his Rivero Health, he's got a big staff of people that are always on the lookout for him. They can put out 5 or 6 videos a day, and I think that's what you need to do. So I'm open to any suggestions. A couple of you, Cliff Medina comes to mind. Email me suggestions for things, and if I don't do it, it doesn't mean I haven't saved those emails and won't do it sometime. Fortunately, all I have to do is sit and watch the morning news for 15 minutes, and I'll come across some absurd news story or commercial for some new drug that is a video right there. So I've been able to keep it up. There's a number of different kinds of videos that I can make. I can make the "here's how I do it" videos, which is what I did today with all the kitchen gadgets. That was Mitch's version of the Home Shopping Network, in case you missed it. And I can do science-y biochemistry type explanations of cellular biology and evolutionary biology, which just bore the crap out of most people. But it's fascinating stuff, and it makes you understand the why things are going on. Those don't do too well. And the videos that seem to do the best are actually the ones you least expect, the simplest ones. Usually they involve a recipe or cooking something, and it's just a challenge. And I just, you keep throwing it against the wall and see what sticks, and that's what I'm doing. Averaging out, I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm putting on 2,000 to 3,000 new subscribers a month, but I wonder where they are. Listen, if you have a question for me, I'll try to answer all of them that I can. Put QQQ in question marks before it, please, or the word question in question marks. And if you see me going ahead, I'm doing my Walter imitation here. My head is always going like this because I'm scanning all these different monitors, trying to keep track of what's going on here. I did see a question about where was it? It was about Michaela Peterson, and I did see some of that video about that new study, Mayo Clinic study, basically calling the lion diet a fad. Well, you have to know what the agenda is of all of big medicine, the big media companies who are in business because of the money that big medicine and big food spend. Just like in politics, that their party can always do nothing wrong. And I don't want to get into politics because I did a little bit the other day, and that got me in trouble too. Oh man, you can't win. You just can't win. We are so divided on so many things that the minute you stop being politically correct, you stop walking that line right down the middle, they jump at you from both sides. And we're not even a political channel. We're talking about diet and health. But unfortunately, it's all money, and that makes it all politics. Because money is at the root of all politics, and power. And believe me, they like the power they have. So when I saw that thing that Michaela Peterson put out there about the Mayo Clinic calling the lion diet a fad diet, what would you expect? I would have been more shocked if I'd heard them referring to it correctly as an ancestral ultimate elimination diet. But no, they have to say that we can't recommend it because there are no randomized peer-reviewed controlled trials on that diet to show that it's not dangerous. So we have to err on the side of safety, and we have to figure that more in the public that it could be dangerous because it's never been proven not dangerous. You want proof? I mean, if you're going to be real, you want proof that the opposite of the lion diet is a dangerous diet, that the standard American diet, that the vegan diet, that eating nothing but plants, you want proof that that's not a dangerous diet? We don't demand studies. Just go visit any hospital emergency room. Just go out and look on the street at the sick people and the diabetics and everything. Ask them what they eat. You'll find out they eat sugar and carbs. That's what they eat. And plants. You told them plants were good for them, so now they're eating plants, getting sicker, and it's not even their fault because I'm talking to you, big pharma, liberal media, big food, you told them that was healthy. You have appended the word healthy in front of the phrase fruits and vegetables or whole grains. Those words cannot be uttered in public without that necessary appendage of healthy in front of them. It's almost been decreed that when you say fruits and vegetables, if you don't say healthy fruits and vegetables, we're going to make that a criminal offense because it's dangerous and it's going to hurt people if they don't eat fruit. That's what we've got right now, guys. How we got here, I know how we got here. You all know how we got here. But that's what we've got. I'm almost given up having any optimism that it's ever going to turn around in my lifetime. So we have to just hunker down. We're almost better off if we keep to ourselves, because the more noise we make, the more guns are aimed at us. We need to act like we're living on a little island. We do our thing. We eat our meat. We don't try to change their minds. I'm not on a crusade. I don't know about you. I'm here only to help tell people who want to know how I did it, just to tell them how I did it. If somebody comes up to me and says, you know, I'm a vegan and I really like it, my answer to them is, God bless you. Enjoy your spinach and your carrots, and good for you. More meat for me. You know, in fact, we need a t-shirt. It says, be a vegan, more meat for me. I think that would be a great t-shirt. At any rate, Michaela Peterson, what did you expect, Michaela? You can't. I mean, they took your father's license away, these people, for nothing. They're trying to put Donald in jail for nothing. I mean, you can't aggravate these people. They have power and they have money, and they will not tolerate any ideas or thoughts that in any way attack them as being wrong. Whether they're wrong or not, that doesn't matter. So anyway, that's as political as I'm going to get tonight. Let me say hi to some people here. We've got Robert Warrist. How you doing? He was the first one in. No, he wasn't the first one in. Jerry Bell was the first one in. He says, hello, meat people. And I went way back to the beginning of the chat here. Mac, BB1 Mac is here. Jennifer, TX Carnivore, how you doing? And Michael Pregler. Hi, Michael. How are you, my friend? Richard Williams. And if anybody doesn't know where he's from by now, Copper Hill, Tennessee. Linda G. Sandra McDonald, how you doing? Quicker Ticker. I like that. My friend Adrian Mateo from Adrian Mateo Drones. Adrian lives in Florida. Tara Louder's here. Good evening, Mitch, in the carnivore community. And Ron Priest, how you doing? Good to see. He likes my music. Well, that's good. Tom Mayer, yo, from Michigan, Wisconsin. Josephine C. is here. How you doing, Josephine? Mama Cracker's here. Hildy is here. Day 3. God bless you. Hang in there, man. You can make it. Iron Ranger. Hey, Mitch, love the channel. Thank you, man. That's a tough sounding name you got there. Iron Ranger. Sounds, it could be like a DC Comics movie. Don't you think? And Open Mind is here from Palm Coast, just north of me, north of Daytona, where they finally got the race off yesterday. Kel says, hi, Mitch and everyone. Stanley Bridge, hi, Stanley. Iron Ranger says it's no tropical moods in northern Minnesota. No, guess not. Michael likes my shirt. Thinks I'm styling. Sandra McDonald, I will trade you our 36 centigrade for gold right now. Yeah. Oh, where are you, in Australia, Sandra? I forgot. B-Man, hello everyone. Michael Pregler says, hit the like button. Good evening, John Clunker from Des Moines, Iowa. How you doing? And is that Simpson Johns. Wow, that's a James Bond sounding name. Hi from Iowa. Naomi Jones is here from Hot Springs, Arkansas. Jonathan Bennell from Western Kentucky. And Mike K says, ignore haters, they're jealous. Yeah, they're just, they need to get a life, I think, or find something that interests them other than running around telling people they're wrong all the time. Cliff Medina. Hi, Cliff. Cliff emails me a lot, and a lot of good stuff, a lot of interesting stuff. Thank you, Cliff. I appreciate that. Keystone Ken. Ken, how you doing? Good to see you. Linda Price, Gunnar Jennifer, Michael Pregler saying, when I start to see a lot of names, I know I'm into it. Mona YY Rig. Hello, Mitch. I'm the bomb. Thank you. CB Carmack is here. I can't watch any vegan content for any more than 2 minutes. It's funny you should say that, because Cliff Medina sent me a link to a debate, a vegan debate, and he asked me to watch it. And I said to him, I'm sorry, Cliff, I can't watch that stuff. It drives me, I can last 5 minutes. And he wrote me back and he says, I know I lasted 10. That made me feel good. It made me feel like, well, I'm not the only one. I just can't stand to hear wrong nonsense spewed out of somebody's mouth as if they're an expert and that therefore it has to be correct. Now, they would probably accuse us of the same thing, because we're pretty convinced that this is the right thing to do, or we wouldn't be doing it. I keep looking for evidence that supports the other side of the argument, and I haven't found any yet. All I've found is a lot of biased studies paid for by people and companies with agendas, by scientists with political bents, like our friend Walter Willett up there at Harvard, who's, king vegan, and everything that comes out of Harvard, of course, vegetables good, meat deadly. Yet the carnivores in some bizarro world aren't dropping like flies and being recorded dropping by all these people that have cell phones and post millions of these videos every day on every social media platform. And yet, where is the viral video of the carnivore dropping from heart disease? Where's the viral video of the little guy coming out of the flying saucer with the two big black almond-shaped eyes? Where's that one? They got videos of everything with all the cameras we have, yet amazingly, there's no videos of that. There's hundreds of videos of ex-vegans telling their devastating stories, with pictures and medical records to back it up, of the damage they did to themselves from malnutrition, trying to be politically correct and eat bushes. There's hundreds, if not 1,000 or more of those videos. I've seen a ton of them being interviewed who have become carnivore and solved everything. Where's the video? Where's the video of the ex-carnivore that 5 years ago was on death's bed? And he said, "Out, evil meat. Bring me vegetables." And 5 years later, he's cured. Where's that video? Where? Show it to me. Because without that, they call that evidence, by the way. Without that, how can I believe you? You don't believe what we have because you don't want to. My mind's made up. You know the old saying, don't confuse me with facts. My mind's made up. You're wrong, and I know you're wrong. Anyway, that's what we're facing. That's what we're up against. It's not going to get any better, because the more noise we make, And the more people become carnivore, which seems to be, things are trending in that direction. And the more things trend in that direction, the more noise they're going to make. And the more absurd the crap that they're going to come up with. And the only way that we can ever fix this is somehow to have a mass exodus at the higher levels of government that control the government's message, on the board of directors of these giant corporations, to change their focus. The big drug companies, instead of focusing on lifetime expensive treatments for conditions that aren't really diseases, thereby maximizing profits, they need to be focusing their research and their rocket scientists on the real causes, which are very well known, metabolic disorders. But God forbid, God forbid, God forbid that they actually cure something. Because when they cure something, they've lost a customer. And what businessman wants to do that? And that's what we're up against. They've got boards of directors. Just because some of the Seventh-day Adventists happen to sit on their board, that doesn't help us either. Wow, look at this. B-Man, thank you very much. So glad I found your channel today. Very refreshing. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was more than generous, and I'm glad you found the channel too. Welcome. Good to see you. Now that was way down at the bottom of the chat. Now I have to go way back up to the top of the chat and find where I was. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents, and we need to just do what we're doing. Be a community. You know, I gotta tell you. Let me see if I can get this up. And I hope I don't embarrass her. But I was scrolling through YouTube a little earlier today, and I see a video, and I see the name of the channel, and it was the Carnivore Odyssey. Do any of you recognize that name? I see Jerry Bell ask a question. I'll get back to that. What was my feedback from my live last week? A lot of great compliments. We had a great time. Lee is just the sweetest and nicest young man. We got along great. We spent hours talking to each other before the live stream. It was a little awkward for the both of us because we'd never done that before. I have never had any guests or anything on this live stream, and it's because I usually can't stop talking, so it's perfect for me. But he had a great time. We might do it again. He knows what he's talking about. He's one of these guys that is definitely, when you say to somebody, there's 2 ways to think about this carnivore thing. You can say to yourself, and that's why I'm bringing up this Carnivore Odyssey. You can say to yourself, I'm on a carnivore diet. Okay. I'm on a carnivore diet. And that just kind of falls in line with all the other diets. Well, why? Well, I want to lose weight. Well, what are you going to do when you get to your goal weight? I'm going to go back to eating all the good shit that I like. That's what being on a diet really means. Or you could say, I'm living a carnivore lifestyle. And that sounds just very sophisticated and trendy. And it better describes what we're doing. It is a lifestyle, and that kind of intimates that there's going to be no end to it. This is how we live. And then the ultimate commitment to that carnivore lifestyle is when you start saying, I am a carnivore. No further explanation needed. I'm a carnivore. It means that's how I live, instinctually, with no effort. It is just how I live. Every animal in the animal kingdom lives that way because they don't have a conscious mind to think and give things names. They just are. They're meat eaters, they're herbivores, they're omnivores, whatever they are, they don't think about it. They just do it. They follow their instincts. After you've been on the carnivore lifestyle for a while, everything just becomes what you are. You would no more think of eating any of those plants and leaves and stuff like that. It just isn't what you do. I've reached that point. I didn't start out at that point. I started out on the carnivore diet, and I was living the carnivore lifestyle. Now I am a carnivore. There's no doubt that this is just how I eat, and until something bad happens to me because of it, I'm going to keep doing this, and I can't even imagine that. I've never felt better. Well, this Carnivore Odyssey lady, I don't know her first name. I looked and I didn't see it anywhere. A video with her popped up on my feed because, that's what we do. We get these videos. YouTube feeds us things in the genre that we watch. And what they're doing, she's a new channel. I think it's 7-8 weeks old, and she's in Australia. And I'm going to show you her picture here. And you may have seen her. And I said, Carnivore Odyssey. Carnivore Odyssey. Where do I know that name from? And I know that name because she's one of my viewers. I know her by name. I've seen her comments lately, in the past month or two, in quite a few of my videos. And I said, well, look at that. One of my viewers has got a YouTube channel. Let me go and look. And this video was called Eyesight, Understanding, and Motivation, Carnivore Ramblings. And it's about 20 minutes long, I think. Yeah, 26 minutes long. And I was spellbound by her. Spellbound. I mean, I can't even describe it. Obviously, looking at the picture, you can see that she has just begun this journey, and it's going to be a long journey for her. But I'll tell you what came out of her mouth it mirrored how I feel about saying I'm a carnivore. This woman, after 2 months, is already not on a diet, not living the lifestyle. She's got the mindset and knows her stuff, and she's entertaining and a good speaker and a character. So check her out. Check her out. I love to introduce. If I find somebody that's really neat, I love to introduce it. And it's got nothing to do with the fact that she gave me one hell of a shout out in this video. So I mean, no, that has no part in the fact that I'm giving her a little plug here. But check her out. I hope that she, I don't know what time it is in Australia. It's probably early in the morning tomorrow morning. And I don't know if she's watching this live stream, but I want to find out her name. And maybe one of these days, because she alluded to the fact that she thinks that she and I would have a blast on a live stream, and I think so too. So get in touch with me and let me know your first name, and we'll talk about it. Anyway, that's something I wanted to tell you all tonight. So check her out. Check her out. Where was I in the chat? Where was I? Oh, God, there's so many. Hello, hello. I think Mike K says he thinks drug companies shouldn't be advertising. It's sick. Lawyers shouldn't be advertising either. These lawyers that come on TV every morning bragging about the size of the settlements they got people, and then they get these poor guys coming on. We got them here. We got a ton of them here in Florida. And they get them in front of the TV. Some of them hold up the big check. Some of them just say, Dan, I was in a car wreck and Dan got me $8 million. And that's really helped with my medical expenses. Thank you, Dan. And then the lawyer comes on and says, we fought for John and we'll fight for you. And every time I see one of these lawyer commercials, I think back to Ray Janney, was a comedian who died a number of years ago, committed suicide. He was the funniest comedian I've ever seen in my life. And he used to do his imitation of these late night commercials. And he did a lawyer commercial. And this was done 20-some years ago, and I swear all of these lawyers have seen his lawyer commercial and are now copying it like word for word. It's absurd. So you got those people. They're not winning big cases for everybody. They're bundling up in packages of thousands, settling for the minimum they can, giving the client half. And believe me, I understand how that works. That's a racket. That's a racket. And they spend fortunes on advertising because they have to have tons of cases to average out. And yeah, once in a while they do hit a big settlement because they end up with a real case. But I will tell you, unless you got a slam dunk case, they don't want anything to do with you. And I know that from personal experience. I know that. About 5 or 6 years ago, I had to climb up, install a camera on the outside of my house. I didn't have the right ladder, so I went to Lowe's and I bought a ladder. And I brought the ladder home. It was a big step ladder, and I climbed up on it. And the ladder fell, and the ladder broke and collapsed underneath me, and I fell. And I shattered my wrist in 5 places. I now have a steel plate in this wrist. And I went to one of those lawyers and I said, this ladder company, I mean, I have the ladder. You can see it's all bent up. You can see exactly where it failed. You can see why it failed. You can see it was defective and not obviously so. I'm an old man. I could have killed myself. I did break my wrist, which is going to affect me permanently for the rest of my life. There's going to be things I can't do. I think if anybody's got a case against these guys, and this guy, he took my case. I signed all the papers, and then I waited. About 3-4 months later, I get a letter from him. He's withdrawing from my case. So I call him up. Well, what are you talking about? You can't withdraw. Well, that thing you signed, yes, I can. I can withdraw. Well, why are you withdrawing? Well, we wrote a letter to them, and they won't settle. They want us to take them to court. We're not going to do that. That's what those lawyers are about. Believe me. At that point, I gave up. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. There are certain people that, especially big ladder manufacturers like Wagner and some of them, you can't sue them because they will not settle. They won't settle, period. That's the way you have to be in this world. If you don't settle, they won't come after you. They're not going to spend the kind of money it takes, the millions and millions of dollars it takes in legal fees to prosecute a case like this with all the medical records that are needed and all the rabbit holes that goes down and the years and years and years of motions, hearings and appearances. And if it's a big company, they'll run you ragged. They'll find excuses to get you to have to fly to the other side of the country for a hearing. They will harass you until you just finally say, Uncle, I give up. And this lawyer, he wasn't going, he He was hoping he could write him a letter, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other thing. If you don't do this, the latter company wrote him back and basically said, fuck you, pardon my French. And he immediately wrote me a letter saying, we're dropping your case. And I had no recourse. So, and, if you think I could have sued the lawyer, you are to the thin blue line. I think these lawyers have a larger organization than that as far as professional courtesy goes. That's the real world, people. And this little excursion down the rabbit hole started because the comment said the drug company shouldn't be able to advertise. Listen, if they've got something that's worth having, then advertise it. But please, 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 no more dancing fat people. Come on, guys. Jardiance. And there's another one. I saw two within like 10 minutes on TV. Two different drug commercials. Both of them had dancing fat people. First of all, nobody acts like that in real life anyway, especially people that have serious health conditions. You don't see them with a choreographer dancing down the middle of the street singing. It's crazy. They are inventing a reality for us, and we just sit there and soak it up, and next thing you know, we think it's real. They don't cure anything anymore. They don't. They're the opposite of that. They don't want to cure it. They want to keep you alive and sick as long as they can because the money keeps coming in that way. Anybody who thinks that isn't the goal is naive. The goal is to extend your life as long as they can. Doesn't matter how much you suffer. Doesn't matter how inconvenient it is or expensive it is. You are on their books as an asset until you die, and they need to keep you there. And that's the prime focus. They could be doing so much good with the minds that they have. The scientists that work for Big Food, who spend their entire career making things more addictive without regard for the health consequences of these different formulations of seed oils, grains, and sugars. Bet you can't eat just one. That every time I see that commercial, it angers me because that is in your face. They're saying to you, bet you can't eat just one. They're saying, we have got you right where we want you, and you can't do anything about it. It may as well be heroin. It's that addictive. And we're all paying the price for it today. And they won't even let us refer to it as an addiction. It's not a real addiction. How can food be an addiction? We have to eat. We're not addicted to food, my friends. We're addicted to sugar, carbohydrates, starches. We're not addicted to food. We're not addicted to ribeyes and eggs. We're not addicted to them. Those foods are the foods we need to sustain us, but they do not. They do not, or the anticipation of them does not increase our dopamine, give us a high, like our anticipation and final reward of sugar and starches. We are not food addicts. It's a misnomer. We are carb addicts. Carb is a chemical substance we're addicted to. We're not addicted to animal fat or protein. I don't see anybody hawking their furniture to get enough money to buy a pound of butter. Sorry. Doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. Wow. I get on these soapboxes. Obviously, I haven't scared you away yet. That's good. That's good. I want to interact with some of you guys. Let me That was Mike Kay said he didn't think. How's everyone in carnivore land, says Andre. Yep, the U.S. needs to make it illegal for med companies to advertise. Well, they made it, look, it wasn't hard. They made it illegal for them to advertise liquor and cigarettes on TV. But that was all political. I mean, that was political. The cigarette companies didn't care. Do you think they cared? Who do you think owns all the food companies now? Where do you think the scientists that made cigarettes more addictive, where do you think they went? They're working for Nabisco and Nestle now, making their products more addictive. Same thing. And it's actually easier because it's a whole lot easier. There's more sugar than there was tobacco. I mean, they've expanded the scope of their operations by orders of magnitude when they went from tobacco to sugar. It's crazy. Reading the content of Daji, okay. Sandra, Iron Ranger, I'm looking at this. A question. Kate Parkinson. Kate here again, new carnivore without a gallbladder, so having an issue with fat. Any suggestions? Yes. Yes, I can tell you what I heard other people say. I personally still have my gallbladder, although I had a CT scan, I think 5 years ago. I had kidney stones. I had 8 kidney stones. And when they scanned for my kidney stones, they did a CT scan. When you read the radiologist report of these scans, they just comment on everything they see. And one of the comments was I had mild fatty liver disease, which shocked the hell out of me, and I had a gallstone. Now, these things don't bother you unless they move around, and they really don't bother you unless they actually plug up where the duct is, which is why kidney stones are so painful when they try to get through the ureter that goes from the kidney to the bladder. And these spiny little buggers, which are usually calcium oxalate, you know, those little things that come from eating spinach, one of those superfoods, or dark chocolate or almonds that are loaded with oxalates. Well, what do you think happens to those oxalates? They oxidize everything, every mineral in your body, especially calcium, and they form these spiny little stony things. And when they try to get down that little ureter, those spines just stick in, and that's where the pain comes from. Well, they told me I had a gallstone, and I don't know if it's still in there or not, but it never bothered me. And I can only hope, like my kidney stones, which are just about all dissolved away by themselves now, I'm hoping that that's gone. But I have, in the course of studying carnivore and keto for years and listening to so many of the doctors that are on there, Chafee and Burry and them, I know that Sean Baker does not do the Q&As like Anthony and Ken do. He has a different style as far as carnivore, but if you watch Ken Burry, any of his live streams, invariably there's always that question, okay? Always that question, Kate. And his answer is always the same. And what he says is, you can tell if you eat, it's all monitoring what comes out. If it's loose, you can't handle that much fat, back off. But bile is not made in the gallbladder. Bile is made in your liver. It's only stored in the gallbladder. It's just a little sac and has muscles, and it squeezes the bile and injects it into the intestine, okay? And it acts like kind of, it's a emulsifier. It does what dish soap does to grease. It breaks it down. And the biliary tube that goes from the gallbladder or from the liver to the gallbladder, when there's no gallbladder, that biliary tube expands, so I hear, and becomes kind of a pseudo gallbladder after a while. and it can hold and mimic what a gallbladder does. And there are so many people on carnivore that have reported that they can eat fat now, and it took a little time, but after their gallbladder was out, but they've resumed a pretty normal life. So I would say talk to your doctor about that. But we talk about things amazingly that these doctors, it's foreign to them. That's one of the things that blows my mind. I talked to my doctor at the VA, who's a nurse practitioner. I mean, she's not really a doctor, but she plays a doctor at the VA, and she's smart and she's good. And the best part is she doesn't argue with me, and whatever I tell her I need, she gives me. I guess I've convinced her after all these years that I do know what I'm talking about. And she won't dare tell me that my 340 LDL level is harmful. And I've brought her studies, I've done all that stuff. Now, officially, she has to write down in the notes in my file that she alerted the patient to the dangers of his high LDL and recommended a statin. But the good thing about the VA is they're very respectful of their patient's right not to have anything they don't want forced on them. And they're very wary of that. I mean, they go out of their way to make suggestions to you and not try to force the issue like so many of these other doctors do, who actually will get insulted if you don't want to take their advice. They'll fire you as a patient. They'll get mad at you. Ken Berry says, you get a doctor like that, you have to walk out. I mean, it's not his business. He's not your mother. He's your doctor, for God's sakes. So as far as the gallbladder goes, give it time. Give it time and see what happens. Talk to your doctor. See if, this is not a vegan or carnivore thing with the gallbladder. It's just a thing, and hopefully it'll work out for you. I hope that was an answer that means something to you. You're brand new, it says here. Give it some time and ramp up the fat. And, you're going to continue to make bile, and the biliary duct will expand. And I don't know what's months, 3 months, 6 months, however long it takes, it'll take. But I would say, come back this time next year and you'll be eating exactly like the rest of us do. Jennifer says, I think veganism has turned into a left woke movement. Of course it has. They're aligned with the animal rights activists and the climate change activists. And they're using both of those as their reason why we shouldn't be eating meat. Anybody who thinks that burping cows are ruining our planet, raise your hand. Anybody think that billions of automobiles spewing carbon monoxide might be doing maybe a little more damage to our atmosphere than cows that are burping and have been doing so since the beginning of time? But that's what they think. And they've got the science to prove it, my God. And if you dare disagree with, I love this expression, settled science, if you disagree with this settled science, you are a denier, a science denier. Just like you're a climate denier. And you may be able to get away with that now, my friend, but we have legislation in the works to criminalize that, because it's dangerous to be a denier. It's dangerous, and we need to put you in jail. And if you think that's far-fetched, They're already doing that in some of these European countries. And that, my friend, is the end. That is the end of freedom and the end. This is where revolutions start. And all I want to do is eat a ribeye. That's it. Leave me alone. I want to eat a ribeye. You know, Jesus, don't make me public enemy number one. I just want to eat a ribeye. Sorry. If I'm responsible for a cow's death, so be it. I could live for 6 months on that one cow. And let's talk about that cow. This is the absurd thing. This is where the real absurdity lies. Logic. Every one of us, living animals, and I include you and me, all of us, whether we be humans, whether we're the cows that we eat, whether we're our pet dogs and cats, we all invariably, unquestionably, undeniably are going to eventually end up as food for something else. Think about that. Every living thing, eventually will be something else's food, and that includes you and me. Whether it be some bacteria, a worm, or a maggot, we and every living cow is going to be eaten eventually by something. And that is the way life works. Nothing lives forever. Everything that lives goes on to nourish the living things that come after it. Whether it becomes a part of the soil and it becomes a part of a plant that gets eaten by something else, it all becomes food. And we're all going to be food. So what difference does it make if we do what allowed us to be who we are, and that is eating the meat, and an animal had to die? That animal more than likely suffered a much more pleasant life, a quick death, and we ate it, as opposed to being chased by a pack of lions and tigers in the jungle, attacked, ripped open, having his guts eaten alive by a tiger or a lion. That's the eventuality of all living things. You ever hear anybody talking about that? I've heard one or two people in my lifetime basically say, we're all going to be food. And that's true. That's true. No matter what happens to you. At the very least, you're going to fertilize something. Even if you get cremated and your ashes are spewed out into the air, those ashes still have organics in them, and they will fall on things like soil, and they will be soaked up by a plant. And some of the atoms that make up you right now will end up nourishing some future living thing. This animal, I don't condone animal cruelty. I don't condone some of these factory farms where they raise these animals in less than natural conditions. But that's still not as bad as being eaten alive by a lion, or an alligator, in my opinion. It's all about money and politics, and the rest is just an emotional excuse that they make up, give in playbooks and handbooks and talking points to their minions, who are useful idiots, and do their bidding because they believe they're saving the planet. The planet doesn't need saving. There's nothing we can do. Doesn't matter to the planet. If we all kill ourselves, the planet will still be here. The only thing that's going to destroy this planet is some god-awful monstrous asteroid or something that crashes into it and breaks it in pieces. I've always thought we're too arrogant and we think way too much of ourselves. Anyway. Andre says his ED went away. Thanks for that. Too much information there, Andre, but we're happy for you. Michael Pregler says, Kate, my wife has no gallbladder. It will just in time, and it took her a while. Now everything is good. See? There you go. Mitch is right. I generally can't go wrong if I just say what Ken Berry said. He's pretty realistic and smart guy. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Stanley said he was a vegan. I ate a vegetable once or twice, Mama Cracker said. Swamp Ninja wants me to give him hell. I like that. Thank you. Nancy, question marks. Does any of your family or friends do carnivore? I don't have anyone in my life right now that isn't doing this. I feel great and don't care if people think I'm crazy. Well, no, I have 2 kids that are trying, but they're not there yet. They're just not there because of their lives and terrible addiction. My poor daughter, she tries, she keeps doing it, but that sugar addiction just won't let her alone. She just is having just a ton of trouble. But she'll get there. She'll get there. My son, he's okay. He's getting into it more, but he's still not 100%. He's still on a carnivore diet. He's not living a carnivore lifestyle yet, and he's definitely not a carnivore like I am a carnivore. I don't want to say it's almost a religion with me, but that's how I identify. Almost like a Christian might say. I'm a Christian. Well, I'm not a Christian, but I'm a carnivore. That's how strongly I identify with this. And that, I got news for you, that makes it so easy to keep doing it. And if you go watch Carnivore Odyssey's video, you'll see she just pours it out in that one video. And I think she's really got it. She's really got it. And no, I don't have any friends that are doing it. I don't have any support doing it. I end up trying to be support for all the people that are struggling. I struggled for 75 years with a weight problem and then health problems, and I'm just so happy I fixed it. And I love it now. God, I mean, I can't even, I'm not at a point where I say, God, I wish I could eat. I get disgusted watching these people eat that crap. Let's Junk More Health says, hi. Scooby the Dog is saying hi to everybody. Jim Pollock, hello, Mitch. Happy Tuesday. Trust I'm well. I am. 5 months in at my goal weight. That's another thing. You don't have to have 300 pounds to lose to benefit from this. You could have 15 pounds. If you have any conditions, pain, arthritis, diabetes, anything like that, forget about the weight. The weight will normalize. You can't help it. Your weight will go right where your body wants it. And then it'll stay there for a while, hang out for a while you get used to it. Because what happens is if you go below, they call it a set point. If you go below your set point, your body takes it as a danger signal that you're in a period of famine. So it starts making physiological changes, slowing down your metabolism, conserving things. And the first thing it wants to conserve is fat and energy. So your fat cells won't give it up, which is why a low-calorie diet with an abnormal amount of exercise is wrong in 2 different ways. Not only are you not eating any energy, but you're expending more energy. And your body is getting the signal that your life is in danger and you're working like hell to save it. And it makes all kinds of changes, and most of them become permanent, which is why all of the previous contestants of these shows on TV, like The Biggest Loser, they're screwed for life. They ruin their lives. They've all gained back everything they lost, plus a lot more, and are stuck with a metabolism 20, 30% less efficient than it was when they started this mess. So now they're screwed. They're just screwed. We can't do that. And that's why I can eat 2.5 pounds of food a day. At 200, God help me if I am, at 138, 139 pounds, which is what I've weighed for over a year now. And the reason I'm talking about this is the comment said that he reached his goal weight quickly. I don't gain it. I eat until I can't eat anymore. I eat a pound and a quarter of hamburger. That's my first meal. And then my second meal, I'll eat a pound and a half of something. Steak, hamburger, fish, chicken, whatever. I mean, I just keep eating until my body, I get satisfied, and then I stop. I never gain an ounce. Never. It's crazy. I reached my goal weight 3 or 4 months after I started carnivore, because I had been on keto and I wasn't that overweight. But I got down to like 145, and I stayed there for a number of months, and then all of a sudden another 5 pounds came off, and then another couple pounds came off, and now after a year, this is where I am. It never changes. I don't have to think about how much I eat. If I'm hungry, I eat. I just eat 2 meals a day. I did a video about snacking where I said don't. That to me is one of the most important things. For God's sakes, eat what they call a bolus of food. If you don't know what the word bolus means, look it up. It is a complete meal. Eat a complete meal. Don't run your dishwasher unless it's full. Don't wash a load of clothes unless it's full. Because everything in our digestive cycle is geared to digesting a bolus of food, a load, a full stomach of food that signal us, okay, the washing machine is full, stop putting clothes in it. It won't work right now. And we have those signals because we're animals, and animals have those signals. You have a dog, your dog eats, and then they walk away from the food. Even if there's still food in the bowl, they know when to stop. We do too. We just don't know how to listen to that, or we've screwed up our chemistry so badly that those hormonal signals just don't work anymore. I mean, it's understandable. So, eat a meal. Now, I made that video about snacking because every other video out there is how to make keto snacks and carnivore snacks. And even Anthony Chafee, and Ken Burry talk about carnivore snacks. They know that you should not eat. Your mother knew you're not supposed to eat between meals. My mother knew that you're not supposed to eat between meals. She also knew you weren't supposed to go swimming until a certain amount of time after. There was reasons, old school reasons for these rules. They didn't just invent them out of nowhere. Our ancestors learned that if you don't follow these rules, bad things happen. Now, you shouldn't drink a gallon of water with your dinner. Your stomach has stomach acid in it, a pH of around 2 or less. Battery acid. It dissolves the proteins, tears them up into amino acids, which you digest in your small intestines. If you drink half a gallon of water with your dinner, you've diluted your stomach acid to the point where that food will not get broken up. it then goes into your intestines in a form that can't be absorbed in your intestines. It ends up working its way all the way through you and out the bottom end, and all that nutrition that you ate ends up in the plumbing. If you're thirsty or if you need a little water to get something down, take a sip of water or two. But would you like another 32-ounce Diet Coke, sir, with your dinner? Would you like a refill on your 64-ounce big gulp while you eat? That we've become so accustomed to doing everything wrong when it comes to food. And here come the carnivores and say, you know what? take a look at the animal over there. See what that animal does? That's what you need to be doing. And it sounds absurd when you first hear it. But God, the benefits of it and the miracle of what it does to you when you let your machinery work like it's supposed to. It'd be like cars are supposed to run on gas, you know. And if you fill up your car with Coca-Cola, it's not going to run. You have to give the machine the fuel that it was designed to run on. You can't run your car on diesel fuel either, even though a different machine can run on diesel, not your machine. It's so simple. It's one of these kind of moments, and people, even doctors, just don't get it. So I just finally said, okay, I like this intermittent fasting thing. That makes a lot of sense to me. Because our ancestors didn't have refrigerators, they didn't have, recliners and TVs, and they didn't eat all day because they didn't have the food. They prepared a meal, they ate a meal, and that was it. And usually it was just one meal. That's the way our machinery is designed. It's designed like your dishwasher. Do one load of dishes a day. Wait till the dishwasher's full, start the cycle, let it run through to completion before you try to put any more dishes in the dishwasher. They'll never get clean that way. So think about the fact that you haven't eaten in 3-4 hours. You get a hunger signal, which in all reality you shouldn't get any strong hunger signal, not if you've eaten 3-4 hours ago, but you get a signal that says, I want to eat. When you decide to eat, it should be a meal. Now, snack food, beef jerky, pork rinds. I got comments. It was really funny. I got comments, after I did that video about don't snack. Well, you said that you eat pork rinds. That's a snack. Not to me. To me, it's a side dish. Doesn't matter what the food is. When you start a meal, then finish it. Eat till you're satisfied. If I were to wander by a bowl of pork rinds and I'm not ready for a meal, and if I happened to eat one and suddenly realized, oh my God, I just ate a pork rind, I would immediately eat a meal. I would finish the meal. The pork rind is not a snack. It's okay to have pork rinds and beef jerky and carnivore bars, those ones that Anthony Chafee advertises. It's okay to have them as part of a meal. But once you start that cycle of a meal, all kinds of different chemical things happen in your body. The whole digestive cycle is a whole bunch of steps involving all these different organs, and you burn a lot of energy. Everything has to be regulated. Hormones have to be regulated. The food has to be moved by peristalsis, where the intestines squeeze it along like you're squeezing toothpaste out of a tube. All of that stuff is highly coordinated to get that through and get it chemically treated like a sewage treatment plant. So your stomach has to have the right pH, the right level of acidity to tear up the food. Then it has to go into the intestines, and everything has to be right in the intestines to absorb all of the minerals and nutrients and amino acids, which, if everything's working right, And I know mine is working right because I don't, here's the bathroom talk again. I don't go to the bathroom, take a crap once a week now. It sounds crazy. I still say, Jesus, when the hell's the last time I took crap? And it's averaging out to be once a week. Now, at first I thought there was something wrong with me. And all carnivores, when they start this way of living, they think they're constipated because nothing's coming out. It's one of the reasons I had such a great time with Lee. Kent Carnivore, because he has no colon. He has an ostomy bag that's hooked up to the bottom end of his small intestine. Anything that would have gone into his colon ends up in that bag. And you know how relieved I was to hear him say that he can eat 2 pounds of meat and a day later, none of it survives the water slide ride through the small intestine. It is all absorbed, and it's all absorbed if everything's working right. So if your stomach is able to break it down, if your small intestines are working right and able to absorb it, there is almost nothing left because meat is 100% bioavailable. Whereas any plant material is fiber, and so much of that fiber is insoluble fiber. They fool you by not counting it as a carb. But it's like you may as well be eating wood. It's cellulose, for God's sakes. It's you munch on a plastic Coke bottle if you want to eat crap that you can't digest. Eat toothpicks. It's the same stuff. It causes all the havoc in our guts. And yet the average vegan, if they're not dumping a 6-pound load 3 times a day, they think they're not healthy. Once a week, 5 days at the earliest. And I've never had gut freedom in my entire life because I have diverticulosis. And that comes from the fact that you're always plugged up, always constipated. So much pressure on your colon that it outpouches. It makes these pouches. And then when they get inflamed and infected, it becomes diverticulitis. And I've never had that happen to me, but I could feel it. Over here on my left side, way in the back, is where that where your colon transverses across the top and then makes that sharp turn and ends up going down. Right up there is where I had my diverticulosis, and they also found that on my scan when I had my kidney done. And I haven't had a pain, a feeling, a discomfort or anything from that since I went on carnivore. It has fixed virtually everything that's wrong with me. And my gut, finally, after a year and a half, I have no digestive problems whatsoever. Everything. It's taken me a lifetime. I never thought I would achieve it. I lived on laxatives constantly worried that I might have a blockage or an obstruction. Discomfort was terrible. Was just terrible because I was eating all of the things that they were telling me to. And when I got blocked up, this is the absurdity of it. When I got blocked up, Metamucil, you're not getting enough fiber. It's like saying to, a plumber coming in and you got a clogged drain and he says, you gotta stuff some more junk down there. That'll fix it. Just keep stuffing more junk in the drain and, pretty soon, it doesn't work that way. And meeting somebody like Lee, Kent Carnivore, and talking to somebody who has firsthand evidence that no, Martha, meat eaters don't have 20 pounds of undigested red meat rotting in their colons. No, that's a wives' tale. It never happened. It never will. if any of you, I know this stuff gets a little rough, but it's just common sense. Have you ever had a colonoscopy? I'm sure a lot of you people have had colonoscopies. The worst part of a colonoscopy, I've had three of them in my life. I had one at 50, 60, and 70, and I think I'm pretty well done now. I think when I hit 80, I don't think I'm going to need another one. They never even found a polyp, so I wouldn't worry about it. But for me, you have to do a cleanse the night before. And that's really the worst. The colonoscopy, they knock you out, and you don't even know, you don't even remember it when you wake up. But the cleanse, the cleaning out the night before is an adventure. It's an adventure. And it's a strange thing to ask people, but I'm still looking for the first person that can describe the 20 pounds of undigested red meat that came flying out when he did a cleanse before a colonoscopy. Because when you go in for that colonoscopy, I got news for you. There is nothing in your colon. Nothing. It is clean as a whistle. How do I know that? Because I saw the video from the scope they stuck up there. And there was no 20 pounds of undigested red meat, and none of it came out. So where is this mystery meat? It does not exist. They have so many of these stupid wives' tale stories. Misinformation. And that, I could understand that, but these are the people that call us dangerous. And that's the frustrating. Ricky Lee says he's got a pound of broccoli in there. Yeah, well, that I can understand. Laxatives are the GI doc's answer for everything. Yes, sir. Oh, my dog, Metamucil and the Miralax. Oh, God, yeah. That's antifreeze bowel toxin. They're always pushing. You guys are with me. God, I love you guys. That's what I like about this community is we're talking about reality here. We're talking about things that we have seen and observed. We're talking about results. This is like going to a tent revival and testifying, this is reality. This is not a pipe dream for us. We're not conning anybody. I'm not lying to anybody when I tell them what this has done to me. Just look at the pictures, for God's sakes. Look at me. I'll be, in 2 months, 77. I've never not since I don't even think I was this healthy as a teenager. It's crazy. And it makes sense. That's the amazing part. Going back to our roots makes more sense than thinking we're smart enough to invent new foods and things like that because we're scientists and we have labs. And all we do is screw things up. So, wow, that was how did that one start? I think it started with the gallbladder talk. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the chat and see. Andre's fighting with everybody. That's okay. Mitch, I enjoyed your baby back ribs and chicken wings video. I can't wait until payday. Ribs been forever. Yeah, the ribs are cheap. I bought a whole rack, almost 3 pounds the other day. It was a markdown at Sam's Club for $6. That's 2 meals. 2 big meals. That's crazy. I'm going to cook them tomorrow, too. Everybody's disagreeing with Andre. All right. Hey, Randy's here. Randy K. How you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Papa Bear. I feel like we're having, I feel like it's like a big social club here. Same people. Good to see you all. Scooby the dog. Curry Desolates. Well, you guys are certainly talking to each other. That's great. That's great. Let me see if there's anything else that I had on my My docket, we're pushing on an hour and a half now. Says here, talk about the fun. Yeah, Lee and I had a great time on that stream Saturday. We really did. Really did. You all know, because I made a whole video about it this morning, that I use a lot of kitchen gadgets, and I have all that stuff on my website. And you guys have been using it, and I appreciate that. It says here, a suggestion that I read an email that I got. Let me take a look at that. I do occasionally, not occasionally, I do quite often get an email, and my email address is everywhere. I got an email. I'm not going to tell you who it was from because I don't want to embarrass her, but she sent me this, and sometimes I ask myself, I mean, I'm serious about this. Why the hell am I doing this? You do get heat. You actually risk some liability if some idiot wants to try to accuse you of killing people with your advice. And I certainly don't need that at my age, but why do I do this? Some people say it's for the money. Well, I make a little money at it, but no, ask anybody with a small channel like I have that gets 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views on most videos. Every once in a while, one of them will run, but when they pay you $3, $4 a thousand views for the ad revenue, you know, you do all that work, make a whole video, you make $7, $8, you know. It's not the money, although I'm not going to turn it down. Anyway, this is from, I think she's a Brazilian woman, and she says, 77, she says, Buenos dias, Don Mitch. Right away, I love this woman. I'm the godfather, Don Mitch. 77 years old, living, let me actually share this letter with, well, I can't do that because if I do that, then we'll know. Anyway, I'll read it to you. 77 years old, living with my Californian husband since 45 years in southern Spain. She lives in Spain. I discovered because of an ugly health issue the ketogenic lifestyle last year, feeling much better. With this and losing pounds as well, I started to peek a bit closer into the internet, and very luckily I discovered you. A very important day in my/our lives. And since then, every time I want to do something good for me, I watch one of your episodes. And as described in the Bible with Maria, I take your word to heart, think about them, and try to adapt my lifestyle. Where we live, it appears a bit of boondocks, which is concerning keto and carnivore, etc., and or the ideas about that are weird, not to talk about the common and traditional medical advices. On one side, they seem to be logical, seeing and growing up with this abundance of fruit and vegetables here. To cut it short, I want to thank you for your fantastic, eye-opening, and humorous contributions on YouTube. I would be sad to miss them. Stay safe, healthy, and happy. With my very best greetings. Okay. I don't even know how to tell you how that makes me feel when I read something like that. To have evidently so positively affected a couple living in Spain, you know, around the world, and to have her take the time to write me a letter and tell me this. And I got this letter yesterday. I save every one of these emails in a special folder on my email. And when I get fed up with this, when I get fed up with the assholes who blast the comments full of nonsense and hate. On a couple of occasions when I was, and you've known when it was over the past few months if you've been with me, where you can tell that I've gotten so disillusioned and fed up with this crap. I just say, to hell with this. I'm just too old for this. I don't need it. I'm just going to live my life and enjoy myself. I read these letters like this, and I don't dare give up. I don't know why. I don't know this woman. I don't owe her anything, but there is, and I'm not an altruist, and I don't believe in altruism. What I get out of it is a good feeling, a feeling of being appreciated, of being thanked, and we all like that. So there is something in it for me there. But I wanted to share that letter with you tonight, and I made a note. I made a note to do that. If I ever get to Spain, maybe I have someplace where I can crash, huh? I shouted out to Carnivore Odyssey, told you about the fun Lee and I had doing our show. I wrote a note here to myself about debating vegans. My note says, debating vegans, especially doctors, is a waste of time. Do we really think that we can change the mind of somebody whose life, career, and income and legacy are built around facts that simply aren't true? And we all know that. We all know that. There's an old saying that science advances one funeral at a time, because when a scientist is wrong and he's built his career on his theories, nothing will change his mind. He can't. He can't. Can he really come out and say, hey, that shit I've been teaching you for the past 30 years, it's wrong? I'm going home now because I don't know what the hell I'm doing? No. They'll fight. They'll fight to the death to maintain their life, their reputation, and they'll defend their theories even if they know they're wrong, because that's just human nature. And until they get old and die, and a younger scientist comes along and takes their place with better ideas and more realistic ideas. So it takes generations for any real change to happen. It's taken generations for us to get in this mess. It's been at least 2, if not 3 generations since the beginning of the Ansel Keys-led heart hypothesis that demonized fat, demonized cholesterol as the problem. And now, 50 years later, we're in this pickle. I know we're not going to be able to get out of it. We'll be lucky to get out of it in 50 years. So we hunker down. We help the people that want to be helped. I do these videos for the people that want to watch, not for vegans. I don't care what they do, honest to God. I told you at the beginning of this stream, I should come up with a shirt. Honestly, I should come up with a shirt that basically says, be a vegan. That's more meat for us. I'm going to do that. That is a great shirt right there. Great t-shirt. Be a vegan. More meat for me. I put a big stake on it. I'm going to figure out something. I'm going to create a graphic. Anybody think that would be a good t-shirt? Let me know. Put it in the comments. That thing that I'm doing with my electrolytes here, guys, I had a comment today. Almost nothing left in here. I tried it today without ice cubes. I put ice water in it early this morning. This thing is still cold. There's probably about that much in here. This is 44 ounces when it's full. I have drank nothing. Well, I had coffee, but other than the coffee and a couple sips of San Pellegrino, I have had nothing to drink today except this. And this is probably 40 ounces of water, 8-ounce glass, 5 glasses of water. And that's what I need. So for the past month or so, I've been pretty much drinking all my water with the electrolytes mixed in and diluted this much. You don't even taste them, and it spreads them out over the course of the day. Now, I don't go out a lot where I carry water with. I don't ever carry this thing out of the house. This is a big thing. Comes with all kinds of different lids. It's got regular lids. It's got lids with a built-in straw, and it's kind of cool because the straw itself is built into the lid, and you just put it in there, and it goes right down to the bottom. And it's a metal bottle, double-walled. It has a nice cloth bag around it, and it comes with a over-the-shoulder strap and some hooks on it. I don't think it's that expensive, but it works great for electrolytes. So, but if you're out and you work and you're always moving around, I don't think it would be. I think it'd be cumbersome to have to carry that thing around. Although when I did see a whole bunch of people at the gym carrying bigger bottles than that. Where was I? Andre, you guys are still trying to convince Andre of something here. I don't know what it is, but sometimes when you try to debate somebody, it's a never-ending battle. Especially if you debate somebody who's really prepared and knows how to debate. I don't do it. I just can't. I get a comment that asks me a very leading question. I did a couple times try to respond nicely and with real information, and what happens is you end up playing whack-a-mole. So they'll say, well, what about this? And you answer that question, well, what about that? And that'll go on for the rest of your life if you let it. They'll never go away. They'll just keep throwing them at you. And nothing you say is ever going to change their mind, because they're not there to be convinced of anything. They're there to beat you down. It's not anything intellectual. I refuse to participate. My choice in answering these comments is I get the comments, and they keep showing up on a page that says I haven't responded. I have to do something, or they keep showing up. I have to give it a heart. It says, Old Guy Carnivore loves your comment, even if I don't. I have to answer it, in which case, with some of these, I know I'm going to get something thrown right back at me, something stupid, which will go on forever if I let it. Or I have to ban the user. I have to just say, hide this user from the channel, be gone. And up until recently, I haven't done that very often. I've lost my patience. Sorry, trolls. I've lost my patience with you guys. I don't think about the question. I don't think about the comment or statement. If you think I'm wrong, not about a little fact, not about something like you said that this has 20 milligrams of salt, it really has 25. I'm not talking about that kind of wrong. I'm talking about that you're killing people. You need to stop spreading this deadly diet. That kind of wrong. It takes me less than a second. Gone. Next case. I can't allow myself to even become concerned or at all defensive or upset about it. Oh, thank you, Ricky. Appreciate that. You appreciate my reply recently. Oh, okay, good. Well, you're welcome. I try. God, I try. You tell me how many of you guys get Ken Berry to answer your comments on his videos. He can't. I'm getting to the point where I don't know how much longer I can. What I can't do is spend a lot of time answering these things, but I can acknowledge at least that I've read them. And when you give me a comment, and it's not a comment or it's not a reply to somebody else's comment in a thread, if it's actually and I try to read them too, I'll usually say something like thank you or I appreciate it, just something to let you know that I have seen your comment. And if you see a heart next to it, you know that I have read it. I have read comments that are novels that people write. I can't believe it, but I read every word of them. That's important to me. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not just doing this to hear myself talk. If I'm not doing any good, if people aren't telling me that I'm doing them some good, then I'm wasting all our times here. Ricky Lee, Barry owes me $5. Oh, I'm sure if he knew about it, Ricky, he would pay you. He'd give you the $5 back. Can you imagine? He has thousands of people in his live streams. I've got 117 people here, and I'm trying to keep an eye on it. Can you imagine what it's like to keep up with that? It's crazy. And he's got his private community. And there's something to be said for that. My private community is great. We're up to about 80 people in it now. I mean, it's we have a great time on Thursday night. But one thing I know for sure is that there's going to be no trolls, because these are people that are there because they want to be there. And you see them in the chat, the ones whose names show up in green with the little badges after them. The color of the badge means how long they've been a member of the community. And the fact their name's in green show that they support me, and every little bit helps and it adds up. And I try to give them, we do a Thursday night thing. Everybody, can come in and be part of the panel, and it's starting to grow. And we're having I think we have a good old time we have a good time here on Tuesday nights. I'll never not do a live stream. I'll never require anybody to pay anything. That's not what I do. But I can, like Ken Berry does, people that want to think that, not that my attention is worth anything. I'm a humble guy. You may not believe it, but I am a humble guy. Kay is here. Thank you, Mitch. You are helping me. Okay. Oh, man, I watch. You know what? It's funny. I mean, this is really funny. In case you don't know, he confirmed it to me. Last week I asked him. His handle is lowercase m, capital K. If you go to pronounce that, it's okay. Okay. And that's from South Park. That's Mr. Mackey. And I roll on the floor at that character. He's I think one of the funniest characters in South Park, which is, in my opinion, is one of the funniest things that ever appeared on television. It's just, and I have every episode of South Park on my media server. And it's like medicine for me. If I'm upset or stressed or something, especially before I go to bed and I just want to unwind, I will find an episode of South Park and watch it. And by the time the episode's over, I'm laughing my ass off and all my stress is gone. And I didn't notice it at first, but that handle, okay. So I guess a lot of you know South Park and know some of the characters on there. But Mackie is great. And even that's one of the reasons why, believe it or not, that's one of the reasons why I kind of knew Bart K was not the character that he plays himself to be in some of his videos, that he was a guy with a sense of humor, because he does the same thing. You'll hear him you'll hear him imitate Mackey sometimes, where he goes, and I don't know if my Mr. Mackey imitation is up to it, but I like to say things like, plants are bad, okay, okay, plants are bad. I mean, that's what Mackey did on South Park. Drugs are bad, okay, okay, and everything he said was followed by okay. And if you watch South Park and you watch Mackey do that for a while, you start talking like that to everybody for the next day. Everybody says something to you, you say, hey, Mitch, what do you think about that? You go, okay. Anyway, I love it. I love it. If I ever lose my sense of humor, I'm done. I'm done. Andre says, bacon is meat candy. Andre, you're the most prolific poster we have in the house tonight. I do like people that participate. Guys, it's 9:45 and I'm starting to get a little tired here. We still got a lot of people. But I'm about ready to take the rest of the day off. I had fun. Always enjoy it. Always enjoy it. Scooby likes me. Thank you. The S111. I got 3-pound packages for $5.99. Oh, that's Andre again. Bacon is meat candy. Curry, Scooby, Florida. Hey, man, out of here. Good to see you. I didn't see you in here. This chat goes by so fast. DS111, how you doing? If I hadn't said hello to you. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you all for coming, putting up with me for a couple of hours. I enjoyed it. I have another little recipe video coming out tomorrow, which some of you got today in the private community. If I have a video done, I always release it to them a day early. So you'll see that one tomorrow. Yet another hamburger experiment with yet different hamburger. So that was kind of fun. Okay. I thought you already were a member of the channel. Did it lapse or something? Anyway, thank you. It says, welcome to channel support. Okay. I thought you were, yeah, your name is on the list here. Well, sometimes I guess maybe it lapsed and you joined back up. But thank you. I always appreciate all the people that support the channel that way. CB Carmack, Mr. Mitch, love your stuff. Enjoyed this as well. Good night. Okay, Bags Packed family. Jonathan, how you doing? Jonathan's going to Alaska. Andrew H. says Bill Knott is dropping the pounds. Yes. Yes, he is. He's an interesting guy. Interesting guy. Jonathan's moving to Alaska. I don't know, man. You've been in Indonesia. Isn't it warm in Indonesia? This is going to be kind of a shock to your system. Last week I thought it was Arkansas, but I got the AK confused with AR or whatever. What, it's Arizona. I mean, too many states start with A. I ought to probably look it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a little traveling music for me. Music always makes me smile. I love that. A total flip. Yeah, you're right, Jonathan. You're right. Randy, good night to you too, my friend. Thanks for coming in. And any of you guys that have pictures of you wearing any of my t-shirts, please email them to me, would you, so I can put them up on my website. Kenneth GB and is that Oklahoma City, OKC? Or Quebec, what is that? Oh yeah, OKC, fairly new to your channel. I'm enjoying your videos. Thank you, my friend, I appreciate it. Lambs, great live. Thanks, fellow chat friends. Yeah, I hope all you guys are making friends. Vicky Y, good night to you. Good night. And to the rest of you, take the rest of the day off. And eat meat.